All right, so we're on notes. This is note review. Excuse me, note review 5. A lot of the things here are very similar to what we talked about before. Again, we're talking about data stored in files. We have different types. Like here I give an example of PDF. Here I give a spreadsheet budget. Here a word processing document. We organize those in folders. We should be able to copy, upload and download files. I talk about different images, movies, sound, all those things, all organized in folders and so forth. And then here we talk about system software. We have applications. I gave some examples. Custom applications written for a specific thing. You can buy packages to do things. You can buy gaming, productivity software with word processing, spreadsheets, database, etc. Review, bits. They get processed into information. What processes them? Software. We have hardware, and I listed all the things in hardware. You know, down here we got the processor, we got memory, we got storage, we got the bus that moves things through, and then we have input, keyboard, mouse, touchpad, touchscreen, so forth. We have output, we have the display, could be a printer, and could be speakers. All that hardware, the operating system software, that's what that says, system software communicates with that, the operating system. The apps communicate with the operating system, and then us humans communicate with the app. All right. Here's that same part of the diagram we just looked at. Over here we have a few more specifics about hardware. We got the processor that does all the work. It processes what's in memory. So in memory would be our software. Send an instruction up, send it back. Like you want to add two numbers, or you have a spreadsheet that's going to add a column. The instruction will go up. It'll bring up the data, process it, send the information back here. And then if you're running a normal spreadsheet and you're not using cloud computing, then you would save it, let's say, on a hard drive. And so the data would be saved down here. Come back the next day, you could load the word processor in, bring the data in, and do more work on it. Or nowadays, if you click on the data, it's smart enough to load the right software in and start working on it. If you want to save it, let's say, for a long period of time, you might want to burn it on a DVD. Let's say they're photographs or pictures from home that you might want to do that. An input in, output out. You might have a flash drive for storage. ROM, read-only memory, firmware. There's software in there, so when you first turn on the computer, that software can deal with the processor and boot the system. Does a check on everything, brings the system up. Then the operating system, typically loaded from, I'll do that in red, the operating system then is loaded in the memory from the hard drive, and then it starts functioning, and then you load an app that you're going to work with. A little bit more of the same stuff. We talked about different types of input. Talked about different types of input. Keyboard, mouse. You might have a touch screen. Your voice, I'm saying there, that's voice. So you can talk to the computer. We have the electronic bus that the information moves on. I'll use a different color there. Let's use blue for the bus. Excuse me. We have expansion slots. You can put cards in those. Years ago we used to put modems in computers, network cards. Not as often now do you put those. Some people will put a graphics card in a particular slot to communicate. USB port, DVD, hard drive, processor, and we talk about cache memory. Cache memory, high-speed memory, where the software, the operating system, can keep the things that the processor needs to use often in cache, so it doesn't have to go to RAM to get it. I already talked about ROM. Output devices, display, sound, printers, and then ports. We're talking about the physical ports. The word ports used a lot of different ways in computers. USB, very popular. Firewire for video. Ethernet, you either have a place to plug in a wire, or there's probably an antenna, you may not see it in your laptop, that allows you to communicate. Excuse me, that communication, network interface card, that allows you to interface with a network. Typically nowadays it's either you have a wire connected or you're wireless. And then some computers allow you to do Bluetooth. You might have a keyboard or something to connect that way. Alright, here again are the same thing we talked about, those ports, software, system software. We have the operating system that communicates directly with the hardware. We have utilities that we can use to manipulate things on the computer. For example, we created folders and directories and so forth. And then the application is what accomplishes our task, and that communicates with the operating system. So this is a little bit of review. Processor, memory, RAM, ROM, expansion slots, physical ports we can connect things to. We added HDMI. NIC, we interface with the network somehow, the bus, and there's actually multiple buses in there, but that moves the information through. Storage, where we can store the information locally, and then of course we have storage out in the cloud. Software, we have all these apps, and we have system software. We really have two. These are programs, program files. We have utilities and the operating system. And that's it for this one.